All right, measures of central tendency. That sounds super confusing, but it's actually not. We've actually already learned it. So central just kind of means middle. Tendency is kind of like making something happening or kind of leaning towards something happening. So the measures, or the way we measure, measures of central tendency are just the mean, median, and mode of a data set, not the range and not the interquartile range. We use it when we want to find out which of the mean, median, mode are most useful or give us the best idea of what our data actually represents. Now, a lot of times, there are going to be more than one that are pretty useful. But sometimes a data set has what we call an outlier. And you've probably heard that word by now. An outlier is a number that is very different from the rest. It's either a lot higher or a lot lower. And by adding that outlier in, it can affect our measures of central tendency. You might have noticed that sometimes when we do a box and whisker plot, and our box and our whisker are not very even because we have those outliers in there. So the way that we're going to figure out the best measure of central tendency, meaning the best is either the mean, median, or mode, which one's the best one to use, there's some simple steps we're going to follow. First, we're going to find the mean, median, and mode for the data set. Pretty simple so far. We know how to do all those things. Then we have to decide if there is an outlier. If the answer is yes, we have an outlier, then we're going to remove it from our data set. After that, we're going to find our new mean, median, and mode. Not range. Scratch that out. Bad Miss McDonough. All right. The measure affected the least by the outlier is our best representative of the data. So we're going to find the central tendency of two different data sets, and then you guys are going to have to find it for 4 and then back by yourself. So let's find our mean, median, mode, and range first with our data set that we have right here. Sorry. Okay. So our mean here, if we add all these up, let's see, we got 5, 10, 8, and 16. 14, 19. So that's going to be 39. 39 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give me 5. When I subtract, I'm going to get 35. Bring down my 4. 40 is going to give me, I'm going to go in 5 again. Get 35. I'm going to get 50. We're just going to round to the nearest tenth here. So let's find our next hundredth. 7 goes into 50. 7 times, which is 49. So I know this is going to be 5.6 with my outlier. My median, if I put them in order, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16. My median number here, since I have 7 sets of data, is going to be the middle, which is 4. My mode, the number I see most often, is going to be 3. And we're going to go ahead and add our range on there, even though we're not usually using range for central tendency. 16 minus 2 is going to be 14. Now I got to find my measures of central tendency without the outlier. First, I have to decide, is there an outlier? And we should be saying to ourselves, yes, there is an outlier. That number 16 is way bigger than the rest of my numbers, so I'm going to go ahead and scratch it out. I'm going to let you know I did the math. If I add all these together, I'm going to get 15 and 8, which is going to give me 23, divided by 6 this time. So that's going to go in 3 times. 18. When I subtract, I'm going to get 5. 50 goes in 8 times. 48. When I subtract, I get 2. Bring down that 0. We're going to say 3 again, so we're going to round that to 3.8. Okay. Then we're going to have to figure out our median, which is going to be our middle number. Since I have an even number, I'm going to have 3 plus 4, because those are my middle two. Add them together, I'm going to get 7. When I divide 7 by 2, I'm going to get 3.5. My mode is still going to be 3, and my range this time is going to be 4. So looking here, we want to look for ones that are affected the least. We obviously know our range is pretty much always going to be affected by an outlier, because an outlier is always going to be a lot bigger or a lot smaller, and it's going to affect our range. So our range is always pretty much a bad idea of central tendency whenever we have an outlier. I also noticed, though, that my mode stays the same and my median didn't really change much. So for my best measure of tendency, I would say mode or median. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one. All right, try it without me and then go ahead and hit play. All right, so I'm not going to add all these up together because you guys should have had that. You should have come up with 16.9 for your mean. Your median should have been 18. Your mode should have been 17, and your range should have been 17. Those are just finding mean, median, mode, and range. When I looked at my data, I should have noticed that my outlier was going to be 5. When I went back and found all my measures of central tendency without 5, my mean would have become 18.8. My median was 18.5. My mode was still 17, and my range was 5. Now, knowing that range is pretty much always going to be a bad measure of central tendency with an outlier, if I'm looking at the rest are pretty much the same. But again, I'm going to notice that mode and median are my best ones. All right, you guys have problems in the back. Again, you're just going to round your mean to the nearest tenth, which means you're going to have to find it to 2 decimal places in order to round. Good luck.